everyone, this is PamelaTopjian, and today we're talking about grief. So I got the idea to talk about grief today because I was scheduled to be a part of a live video event on sibling loss. However, it was canceled, and I was really looking forward to being a part of this conversation. And I need to add that I'm not a grief specialist in any way. I've had a lot of loss in my life, a lot of death in my life, not counting my nursing career, but it personally. And we'll get to those a bit later in this video. But the event was being promoted as the loss that no one speaks about. And it really got me thinking. I was thinking about that since we scheduled it long ago. So with sibling loss, I can see where it may be seen as like the grief that no one talks about because we focus more on the parents who lost the child. Yes, horrific. And one of those things that we think about as every parent's worst nightmare, to have to bury their own child. No one should ever have to go through that. My mother being one of them. So I lost my eldest sister from a car accident. She was 18 and it was just days away from my own 14th birthday. I credit my mother for our healthy grieving. In one way, I feel like it wasn't talked about and it did impact my life and weighed heavily on me for years in many different ways. But we didn't have any counseling. Nobody specifically sat down. My sister, I have another sister. Nobody sat us down to talk about how we feel or what this death meant for us or what we can expect moving forward or anything like that. Or if they did, I don't remember any of that. However, throughout the years, my mother never avoided talking about her. She always talked about the good times and the funny stories and the memories with her. She always said that we were lucky to have her in our lives for as long as we did. She didn't focus on the end and the loss, which is really amazing. Especially the older that I get and the more I think about it, that was really amazing of her. And I just am so thankful that she had that sort of mindset. And I don't know where she got it from, but that instilled on me. I can't speak for my other sister, but I really feel like that is more of a healthy way, and it helped us. It would be such a waste of a person's life or of your memory of them and what you keep alive if all you talk about and all you think about is that tragic end. Of course, tears and sadness are expected and are an honor of that life lost. It's something that you never get over, but you learn to live with it, and hopefully in a healthy way. And over the years, it shows respect for that person who has passed, to think more about the life lived and your memories than to stay in a state of sadness and loss for the rest of your life. So I'm going to talk a bit about the grieving process and grief itself a little bit later. But since I'm on the subject of my sister, I want to share other losses that I've been through in my life. Now, I've lost my grandparents, all of my grandparents, which is expected, and most everyone does at some point. My father and my stepfather as well. And again, it's the natural order of things for people to lose their parents. I'm not saying that these losses are easy, but they're expected. In my first marriage, my now ex-sister-in-law lost her baby to SIDS. And if you've never heard of SIDS, it's sudden infant death syndrome. And before that, it used to be called crib death, where just a newborn baby, I think the age is like, usually it's up to the first 3 months, and it can go up to a year, I believe, where a baby will just pass away in their sleep for no known reason. And of course, it's terribly tragic. I lost a stepson who was in his early 20s. I've lost a dear friend to cancer in early adulthood, and another friend just a few years ago. I've lost a couple pets through my life, and the pets of others who I have felt a bond with as well. And some will argue that it's not the same, but for some, it really is. Please don't ever dismiss the pain that someone is going through with the loss of their pet. And don't dismiss your own pain if you've lost a pet and you're grieving. That grief is just as valid. But back to the event. Being promoted as the loss that no one speaks about, as I mentioned, it got me thinking, and I've had a miscarriage, which to me feels more like the loss that no one speaks about. Many women have had miscarriages, and when you do, in the US anyway, we're told how normal and common this is, and to not blame yourself and other things similar to that. However, it still hurts, and there is a grief that we often carry with us, but we are expected to just sweep that under the rug. And for me, I was 15 weeks along, which is almost 5 months, and starting to feel the movements. We heard the heartbeat for the first time, and everyone was told, and then the loss. In hindsight, actually, even at the time I knew, it really was a blessing in disguise. And I do believe that that little soul knew it wasn't going to be coming into a healthy environment because my second marriage was beyond toxic. Still, the pain is there. It's just a little dark spot in my heart. And I know other women who feel the same, and we just don't usually talk about it. So those who have gone through something similar, please read the description under the video for something about this subject that I want to share with you, and for those who are hurting from a loss of a fetus or an infant. I don't want to go on about it in the video, but I've got something to share with you that I'm going to put in the description box under the video. So with grief, most of us have heard of the so-called stages of grief. I think people expect them to go in order or to feel that they haven't fully grieved if they haven't gone through these stages. And in case you're new to this concept, they are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. But really, in the real world, there's unpredictable waves of different emotions that come and go, and oftentimes it's just unpredictable. But making self-care a priority and allowing yourself time to grieve is very important. And finding support if you find that you need it. Don't ever let others tell you to get over it. I think, and again, I'm no expert, but I think that that first year is the hardest. And you need to expect and allow yourself that time for grief for that first year, and know that it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions. Then gauge yourself on how you're functioning and feeling after that first year. Again, you're not going to get over it, but some memories and dates and holidays, etc., are going to especially be emotional, and maybe for the rest of your life. And in my opinion, that's okay. But it's when you're stuck in that depressed state and always sad to where it's having an impact on your everyday life, that's when you may need to seek some grief counseling or other type of support or healing. Staying stuck in that sadness can cause you to lose sleep, to which will lead to fatigue and forgetfulness, and can lead to unhealthy eating or even other unhealthy self-deprecating behaviors. Self-care is so important for everyone, of course, but those who are grieving, it's vital. And your loved ones, those who have passed on and those that are still in your life, would want you to take care of yourself, would want you to go on with your life and try to find some happiness and a sense of purpose, as well as to think about them in those good moments that you have in your memory still. Hold those moments in your heart. And sharing your feelings with others, with anyone who cares, and or a support group with others who understand can be really helpful if you find that you need that. So how have you handled grief in your life? And what tips would you give those who are watching, who are grieving? Please share some of your experiences in the comments. And I hope that this was helpful in some way. And if you've watched to the end and you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button And if you want to make sure that you don't miss a video, hit that notification bell. If you have another suggestion for a topic of discussion, I'd love to hear your input, your feedback, and your suggestions. See the description under the video for my Linktree, and that has different places to find me and ways to reach me. And as always, I wish you all so much love, so much peace, and healing. Thank you.